Welcome the anointed ones. The universe has a way of whispering its deepest secrets to those who are brave enough to listen. And sometimes, in the quietest of moments, your enemies hear it first. They hear something they cannot unhear, something so profound that it shakes them to their very core. Strange, isn't it? While you were busy doubting yourself, they caught a glimpse of your true power. Perhaps it came in the form of an unexpected vision, a sudden intuitive feeling, or even a supernatural encounter. And here's the kicker. That vision didn't just scare them. It completely unsettled them, leaving them terrified of a force they hadn't anticipated. But here's the truth. No matter how desperately they scramble, there's nothing they can do to stop what's already been set into motion. Their fear isn't just paranoia. It's prophecy. And the way they've been panicking, it's almost as if they're auditioning for the next season of Running Scared. So, buckle up, chosen ones, as we dive into the depths of why your enemies can't seem to escape the shadow of your presence. Number 1, your energy exposes their weaknesses. Your energy is like a mirror to them, a mirror they never wanted to look into, yet now cannot avoid. When they had that glimpse of you, whether in a dream, a gut feeling, or an inexplicable moment of clarity, they didn't just see you. They saw themselves reflected in the harsh light of truth. And what they saw was not pretty. Your presence exposed what they lack: strength, purpose, authenticity. It's not your success or achievements that terrify them. It's the stark realization that all their manipulations, their schemes, and their shortcuts are nothing compared to the natural power you carry within yourself. They have spent their lives hiding behind masks, building fragile illusions to feel superior. But you show up as you are, raw, unpolished, yet unshakable. That's what makes them uncomfortable. Your energy doesn't compete, it simply is. And in its presence, all their weaknesses are laid bare. They've always relied on comparison to feel better about themselves, but you took that away from them by being incomparable. You're not even trying to expose their flaws. It's simply an unintended consequence of you stepping into your own power. It's like turning on a light in a room full of shadows. You didn't plan to disturb them, but now they are scrambling to cover what's been revealed. Deep down, they know the truth. It's not you they hate, it's their own reflection. And instead of addressing their own cracks, they've convinced themselves that breaking your mirror will somehow make them whole. But it won't. And they know that too, which is why they're more obsessed with you than ever. The vision they had of you didn't just expose their fears. It confirmed everything they've always suspected. You are everything they wish they could be, and there's no escaping that fact anymore. Number 2, they tried to bind you before you knew yourself. Long before you fully understood your own potential, they did. And that's the unsettling truth. While you were still figuring out who you were and where you were headed, they had already glimpsed what you could become, and it terrified them. They didn't wait for you to recognize your power. Instead, they tried to cut it off at the root. Every doubt they planted in your mind, every obstacle they threw in your path, was no accident. It was a deliberate attempt to stop you before you even realized where you were headed. Their vision of you wasn't just about your rise. It was about their fall. They saw a version of you that was so strong, so unshakable, that it made them desperate to keep you small. So, they worked in the shadows, sowing seeds of confusion and doubt, hoping you would never figure out who you were meant to be. For a time, it may have worked. Maybe you second-guessed yourself, took wrong turns, or settled for less than you deserved. But here's the thing, they underestimated you. They thought their whispers of doubt would drown out the voice inside you that kept calling you forward. They thought you would remain small, lost, and uncertain. What they failed to understand was that you were never meant to be contained. You weren't learning to walk, you were learning to fly. Their biggest mistake was revealing their hand before you had even picked up yours, giving you a front-row seat to their panic. Now, as you step into who you truly are, their worst nightmare is unfolding. You've become everything they tried to stop, and there's no turning back. They knew who you were before you did, but they forgot one crucial truth. Visions don't change destiny, they merely confirm it. Number 3, the fear isn't personal, it's ancestral. This isn't just about you. It never was. The truth is, their fear of you runs deeper than anything you've said or done. It's ancestral. They aren't just reacting to you as an individual. They're responding to the energy of generations that live within you. Your existence carries the weight of battles fought long before you were born, victories earned, and a legacy of resilience that refuses to be silenced. Whether they recognize it or not, they feel it. And that's why their reaction to you is so intense. It's not personal, it's spiritual. When they saw you in that vision, they didn't just see one person. They saw a force, an unstoppable momentum that's been building over lifetimes. They saw the strength of your ancestors, those who survived, who refused to give up no matter how impossible the odds. And now, all of that power flows through you, making you a walking reminder of everything they fear. Their unease isn't just about you. It's about everything you represent. Your rise challenges the very foundations they've built their lives upon. They've benefited from systems that were designed to suppress people like you, people whose legacy, lineage, and unshakable purpose are a direct threat to their control. Now here you are, carrying all of that history in every step you take. And that's overwhelming for them because deep down they know they're not just dealing with one person. They're up against an entire legacy. The vision they had of you wasn't just about your potential, it was about your momentum, and that momentum terrifies them because it cannot be stopped. You're not just a person, you are a movement, and they've always known it. Now, as they watch it unfold, it's more than they can handle. Number 4. They're not dreaming about you, they're having nightmares. The visions they have of you aren't filled with curiosity or admiration. No, they are drenched in fear. It's not your glow that captures their attention. It's the shadow that it casts over everything they've built. They are terrified not by your rise, but by what your existence means for everything they've worked to control. You haunt their waking thoughts and invade their dreams, not because you are actively pursuing them, but because your mere presence represents everything they have tried to suppress. Every step you take forward brings you closer to unraveling their carefully constructed web of lies. While they may have once believed they could maintain their grip on power, each of your strides is a direct threat to the illusion they've worked so hard to maintain. Your success to them is not a triumph to be admired. It is a death sentence for their authority, their control, and their carefully curated facade. With every victory, you expose the shaky foundation they've built their entire identity upon, and with each move you make, their grip on that power loosens. What they fear most is not your success. It is the undeniable truth that your rise reveals, the truth that they were never as strong or as untouchable as they pretended to be. You don't even need to be in their presence for them to feel your impact. You live in their thoughts, not as a mere memory but as a constant, haunting reminder of their inevitable demise. Their visions of you are not dreams. They are nightmares, each one more terrifying than the last. In these nightmares, they see you breaking through every limit they tried to set for you, tearing down the walls they built to keep you, and others like you suppressed. They know they cannot stop what's coming, and that is what haunts them the most. No lie, no obstacle, no scheme they create will ever be able to hold back the inevitable. You are not just rising, you are rewriting the very narrative, and in your version they lose. That is why they are obsessed with you, not because they want to be, but because they are helpless in the face of your unstoppable rise. You are their reckoning, the proof that their time is up. Their nightmares are not just about your victory. They are about their own exposure for what they truly are, powerless in the face of your truth. Number 5. They tried to mark you, but it backfired. Every attempt they made to hold you back only ended up fueling your power, turning their efforts to control you into the very thing that amplified your strength. They tried to mark you with negativity, with words of doubt, curses of failure, and the weight of their ill intentions. But rather than breaking you, it polished you. Their attempts to dim your light only served to make it shine brighter, drawing attention not only to your resilience but also to the cracks in their schemes. They underestimated your strength and the resilience woven into your very spirit. Every obstacle they threw your way only became a stepping stone, propelling you higher. They thought their curses would weaken you, but instead, they became a spotlight that highlighted the qualities they wanted to suppress. Your perseverance, your wisdom, your unshakable energy. The more they tried to label you as too much or not enough, the more people became curious, began to look past the false narratives, and started to see you for who you truly are, a beacon of strength, hope, and authenticity. It's ironic, really. The very things they intended to isolate you with, to push you into darkness, ended up connecting you to those who needed you the most. Their negativity turned into a megaphone, broadcasting your light to those searching for hope, strength, and guidance. What they failed to realize is that energy never disappears, it transforms. Every curse they sent your way became a blessing, every obstacle a stepping stone. Their attempts to label and diminish you only revealed your true, untouchable nature. Now, rather than being broken, you stand stronger than ever. Your visibility has soared, and their attempts to tear you down have only elevated you to a place they can no longer reach. Their plans have backfired spectacularly, and they are left grappling with the fallout of their own actions. Number 6. They see the blueprint but not the source. Your enemies have caught glimpses of your potential. They see the pieces of the grand blueprint you're building, and they know you are headed for greatness. But what they cannot comprehend is the source of your strength. They see the outline, the visible structure of your rise, but they fail to understand the foundation beneath it all. They believe they can stop you by attacking what they see on the surface, not realizing that your power is driven by something far beyond their reach. Their biggest mistake is underestimating the divine force that fuels your journey. They see you as just one person, a mere flesh and bone being with limits they think they can manipulate. What they fail to see is that you are not walking this path alone. The energy guiding you, the wisdom feeding your every decision, and the protection surrounding you are not human constructs. They cannot be bribed, coerced, or broken. What they perceive as luck or coincidence is, in fact, the hand of something infinite, something far greater than anything they could ever imagine. This misunderstanding is the reason their plans keep failing. They think they can disrupt your progress by placing obstacles in your way, but they cannot see the divine hand behind your every move. Every delay they cause becomes an opportunity for you to grow stronger, to sharpen your skills, and to align more deeply with your purpose. Their interference only strengthens the divine plan, and they are powerless to stop it. What terrifies them most is the unpredictability of it all. They cannot calculate or control the force they are up against. They saw just enough of your blueprint to fear you, but they failed to grasp the source of your power. They are fighting a battle they cannot win, and that is why they will always fall short. Number 7. They know you can't be bought or controlled. Your independence, your unwavering sense of self, terrifies them. They have spent their lives mastering the art of control, using manipulation, fear, and empty promises to bend others to their will. But when it comes to you, none of their usual tricks work. You are untouchable in a way they cannot explain, a force beyond their reach, and that drives them mad. They are used to people folding under pressure, chasing after material rewards, or giving in to threats. But you do not flinch and you do not fall in line. They tried to test your limits, offering you opportunities they thought would make you compromise your values. They assumed that everyone had a price, that everyone could be swayed by fear or greed. But they were wrong about you. You are not motivated by the same things they are, and that makes you an enigma, a problem they cannot solve. They have spent their lives controlling the narrative, but with you, their usual methods have failed spectacularly. What they do not understand is that your strength comes from within. You are not driven by external rewards or coerced by threats. You stand firm, unshaken by the turbulence around you, and that terrifies them more than anything, because the one thing they can never control is your unyielding independence. And that is why they will never succeed in bringing you down. A sense of purpose comes from within. Your sense of purpose is rooted deeply within you. It is not dependent on anyone's validation, approval, or rewards. They cannot buy you because you are already rich in ways that they simply cannot measure. Your worth is not for sale, and this is something that terrifies them. They cannot intimidate you because your courage is not sourced from their world, nor are you swayed by their threats or shallow promises. What gives you strength comes from a wellspring far deeper than anything they could ever offer. They have spent their lives building power by exploiting others' vulnerabilities, but you present no vulnerability for them to exploit. Every time they try, they only end up revealing their own desperation. They are left bewildered, confused by the fact that someone like you exists, someone who cannot be bent, broken, or bought. Deep down, they know the truth. The power they thought they held over you was nothing more than an illusion. And with every move you make, their illusion crumbles further, exposing the fragility of their constructed empire. You stand as a testament to the strength that comes from within, a force they cannot manipulate or control. This is what frustrates them the most, that you are impervious to their usual methods of domination. Number 8. They're jealous of your purity, not just your power. It is not just your power that disturbs them. It is the purity with which you have attained it. You didn't cheat, manipulate, or take shortcuts to get where you are. Your strength is founded on authenticity, and that authenticity is what gnaws at them most. They have built their lives on lies, stepping over others, cutting corners, and compromising their integrity to get ahead. But you've walked your path with unwavering integrity, a steadfast commitment to staying true to yourself. Each time they look at you, they are reminded of the sacrifices they made to climb the ladder, sacrifices that cost them their sense of self. What truly irks them is your purity of purpose. You didn't have to sell out or betray your values to achieve success, yet you have surpassed them in ways they can't comprehend. In their minds, success is only attainable by compromising one's morals, but your very existence shatters that belief. You are a living proof that real success does not require compromising on principles or stepping on others. Your authenticity shines so brightly that it exposes their own lack of it. They resent the ease with which you carry yourself, as if life has not worn you down the way it has them. What they fail to see is that it takes incredible strength to remain uncorrupted in a world that constantly tries to bend you to its will. You didn't avoid hardship, you faced it head-on without losing your true self. This is what sets you apart, what makes you a quiet rebellion against everything they stand for. They wanted your journey to be flawed because it would justify their own compromises, but it isn't and it doesn't. That is why they will always envy you, not just for what you've achieved, but for who you are at your core. Number 9. Their vision showed them your allies. When your enemies glimpsed your potential, they didn't just see you. They saw the powerful, unstoppable force rallying behind you. They saw the invisible army of support, the unseen allies who have been guiding, protecting, and propelling you forward since the beginning. It wasn't just about what they could see with their eyes. It was the underlying spiritual and energetic network that flows through every step you take. They saw the powerful team of energies, guides, and ancestors who have always been a part of your journey, even when they couldn't comprehend it. The forces that protect you are not just figments of belief. They are a solid foundation, an unshakable force that your enemies cannot touch or manipulate. When they saw this, they understood one critical truth. They are vastly outnumbered. It wasn't just your inner circle or the visible community of supporters that rattled them. It was the spiritual and universal forces that empower and shield you. These forces have been part of your journey from the very beginning, and they cannot be touched by the hands of those who seek to harm you. While they may have power in the physical realm, they cannot battle the unseen energies that protect you. Every time they tried to block your path, they were not just fighting you. They were fighting an army that has been with you from the start, a force they can never defeat. Number 10. Their power was built on borrowed time. In their vision, they didn't just see your future. They saw their own expiration date. Their power, their influence was always built on borrowed time. They thrived on the illusion of control, manipulating situations, bending people to their will, and relying on fear to maintain their dominance. But they never counted on someone like you emerging. They never foresaw that a force like you would come along and expose the fragility of everything they had built. Now that you are stepping into your true potential, the very foundation of their power is crumbling, and they are in full panic mode. They know deep down that everything they've done, every advantage they've taken, every dirty tactic they've used, is coming to an end. Your rise doesn't just challenge them. It signals the collapse of their house of cards. They've built their influence on fear, manipulation, and timing, but all of that is unraveling. The longer you stand strong, the closer they come to their reckoning. What truly terrifies them is that they cannot stop it. Their methods are wearing thin, and people are waking up to the truth. The lies and false promises that once gave them power no longer hold weight. They've overstayed their welcome, and the truth is finally catching up to them. They thought they could maintain their dominance indefinitely, but now, as you emerge, they realize their time was always limited. Your strength is the ticking clock that marks the end of their reign. Every moment they try to manipulate or control you is one more moment they know they cannot take back. The end is near, and they can do nothing to stop it. They can only watch as their world collapses around them. Number 11. Your glow is a warning, not just a beacon. Your glow is not simply a beacon of light. It is a warning. Your enemies do not flock to you out of admiration. They are drawn to you because they sense the reckoning that you bring. Even if they won't admit it to themselves, they feel it. Your energy doesn't just shine. It disrupts everything false, manipulative, and corrupt in their world. It shakes the very foundation of the lives they've built on deception. That is why they cannot look away. They are not attracted to your power because they respect it. They are terrified of what it means for them. Your presence is the storm that has been brewing, the force that will finally expose the cracks in their carefully constructed facades. They thought they could stay hidden in the shadows, controlling and manipulating with fear and lies. But your glow has cut through that darkness, and now they are trapped in it. The light they didn't expect. What they fail to comprehend is that your radiance was never meant to gain their approval or validation. You are not shining for recognition, nor do you seek their acknowledgement. Your light flows from within because it is simply who you are. It is a force of nature that cannot be dimmed or ignored, a brilliance that rises from the core of your being. And in doing so, you have become a living contradiction to everything they stand for. Your very existence exposes the decay, the deceit, and the corruption that festers beneath their polished facades. That is what terrifies them the most. You do not just shine. You burn with an undeniable truth that leaves no room for distortion. Your energy cannot be manipulated, twisted, or controlled to fit their narrative. Every time they come closer, they do not see a beacon of hope or inspiration. Instead, they see the impending collapse of everything they have worked so desperately to protect. Your glow isn't just light. It's the reckoning that is coming for them, and there is no way for them to escape it. The truth you embody cannot be hidden or suppressed. It is only a matter of time before everything they have fought so hard to conceal is exposed. And in that truth, they are powerless. Number 12. They realized they are not the main character. The most crushing blow to their fragile ego came when they realized the truth. They are not the central character in this story. For so long, they believed they were the ones orchestrating events, pulling the strings, and molding your journey to suit their desires. They were the self-proclaimed architects of your fate, convinced that their actions were the ones steering the course of your life. They thought they had you under their control, that they could dictate your every move and decision. But then, a moment of clarity shattered their delusion. They saw the truth. They are nothing more than side characters in a much larger narrative. A narrative that does not revolve around them in the slightest. They spent so much of their energy trying to manipulate your plot, trying to control the unfolding of your journey, only to realize they were merely players in the background. Their roles were never meant to be significant. Your story was always about you. You have always been the protagonist, the one with the power to shape your destiny. They were simply obstacles, stepping stones in your path, catalysts for your growth. This realization hit them like a tidal wave. It left them devastated. The world doesn't revolve around their plans, their ambitions, or their selfish desires. It has always been about you. This is the true devastation they face. They thought they controlled everything because they could influence others, but they never understood the magnitude of your power. They were never in control of you. They were never more than a fleeting chapter in the larger narrative of your life. And now, as you step into your full potential, they realize it is too late. The story was never theirs to write. They were just the background noise to your symphony. They thought they were the ones holding the pen, but they were mistaken all along. You were always the author of your own life. And no matter how hard they try to rewrite the plot, they will never take the lead because it's never been their story to begin with. You are the main character. You always have been and always will be. the unstoppable force behind you. As they watch you rise, they see not just your personal power but a force of nature they cannot begin to understand. They saw your growth, your power, and they feared it. But what they failed to realize was that they were never fighting just you. They were battling an unstoppable force that has always been with you. Every attack, every obstacle they threw your way, only served to amplify your resilience. Each attempt to break you only honed your resolve and sharpened your path. They failed to grasp that you were never bound by their limitations, their tactics, or their world. You have always been aligned with something far greater, something they could never touch or control. Your glow is not just the result of your hard work or success. It is a reflection of your authenticity, your truth, and your unwavering purpose. This glow is a reminder to them that their power was always fleeting. Their manipulation, their lies, their attempts to suppress you, only made you rise higher, casting a light so bright that their darkness can no longer survive in its presence. They have spent their entire lives trying to keep you down, trying to contain you, but in the process, they have only fueled your ascent. Every time they sought to diminish you, they ended up making you unstoppable. Your light is not just a sign of success. It's a warning. It's the reckoning they can no longer avoid. The foundation they built their lives on, the lies, the deceit, the manipulation, is crumbling beneath their feet as they watch you step into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. Your truth, your strength, your authenticity have exposed the very things they tried so desperately to hide. You have become a beacon, not just of light, but of freedom. You are a symbol of what it means to rise above, to remain true to oneself, and to become an unstoppable force. And in doing so, you've shattered the illusion they worked so hard to protect. They thought they could control your destiny, but they are now forced to watch as the world they tried to build for themselves falls apart. They cannot stop the inevitable. They can only watch as the reckoning unfolds. Your story has just begun. Your story, the one that has been unfolding all along, is just beginning. The power behind these words, the truth they carry, is only the beginning of the movement you are creating. This is more than just a story about you. This is the story of everyone who has ever felt diminished, controlled, or suppressed. This is a call to action, a reminder that you are not just a witness to your own life. You are an active participant in the unfolding of a greater narrative. You are part of something much larger than you ever imagined. And this journey is just beginning. If you feel the power in these words, if you recognize the truth in the message they carry, don't let this be the last time we connect. Subscribe to the channel now because the journey we're on together is just getting started. We're here to break down barriers, expose the illusions that have been keeping us down, and ignite the unstoppable force within each of us. This is a movement, and it's one you don't want to miss. Join us, hit that subscribe button, and let's continue to rise together. You are not just watching a story unfold. You are part of it. This is your story. This is our story. And together we will make it legendary.